Hello and welcome to the 5th edition of the That Sports blog. Video blog will get underway and we'll start with football and we'll start with the international football that took place. So on Saturday, the Republic of Ireland fell to defeat at home to Luxembourg thanks to a late goal by Luxembourg. Meanwhile on Sunday, a Ryan Fraser equaliser in the second half secured a draw for Scotland against Israel, while England were 2-0 winners against Albania with the goals coming from Harry Kane and Mason Mount. Moving into midweek, and Wales were victorious over the Czech Republic thanks to a late header from Daniel James. That was after both teams had a player sent off. Czech Republic player was sent off with a straight red card, while Tyler Roberts received 2 yellow cards for Wales. On Wednesday, Scotland were 4-0 winners over the Faroe Islands with 2 goals from John McGinn, with Che Adams and Ryan Fraser adding the third and fourth. That's Che Adams' first goal for Scotland. England were rescued by a late winner from Harry Maguire as they beat Poland 2-1. Poland equalised after a mistake from John Stones. Germany suffered a shock upset as they were beaten 2-1 by North Macedonia, and Northern Ireland played out a goalless draw with Bulgaria. This weekend we'll see a return to league action and have quite a packed schedule, as we also see the return of the Scottish Cup. So Championship, League One and League Two and National League games will take place today, with the Premier League and Scottish Cup games spread across the weekend. Rugby Union news, and the Women's Six Nations competition starts this weekend in its slightly altered format because of COVID this year. England will play Scotland and then France will take on Wales. So the NFL have announced that we will move to a 17-game regular season. They've also announced plans for each team to play an international fixture over the next 8 years. Currently, the only team who haven't played an international game either in London or in Mexico are the Green Bay Packers. So their 17 regular season will work with the 17th game being dictated by the previous standings of the divisions last year. So the top division in the AFC will play the top division in the NFC, the bottom division will play the bottom division, and so on like that. And the team who's designated at home will alternate. So this season it will be the AFC, then next year the NFC, and move on in that fashion. In terms of the international games, the plan is to play 4 games internationally. 2 of those will be in London, 1 of those will be in Mexico, and there's possibly 1 that's been undecided there. Teams can opt in to play international games, but can only play 1 international game a year. So you wouldn't get what you were supposed to have this year with the Jags playing 2 games in London. So that's going to be an interesting one there. The plan, I think, is to expand and play games in Canada and games into Europe, like Germany and places like that, where American football is quite a big sport, and they have sort of teams there. So that's the plan. It's a bit disappointing from a UK point of view because we are potentially going to lose out on games. We're also not having games at Wembley. The games will be at White Hart Lane. There, obviously, they spent money and they've done to build the pitch there, so it does make sense. As somebody who's attended them, I did quite like having the 4-game season there, and hopefully teams will opt in to play a game. Particularly, I know the Jags are likely to because they have a long-standing relationship and a big fan base over in the UK and a history of playing games in London, and I've got on our schedules to still play games in London for a couple of more seasons there. So potentially teams will keep opting in, and we will at least get 3 games for a UK point of view there. Other American football news: Tampa Bay, with the re-signing of Leonard Fournette to a 1-year deal, have kept all of their starting Super Bowl team. The only team to do that since the merger in 1970 was the Raiders. So the Raiders managed to keep their entire Super Bowl winning team and their 4-week one of the previous season, like Tampa Bay potentially will have when we get through pre-season and into the regular season. So Raiders, coming off the back of that, were looking to win back-to-back Super Bowls, same as Tampa Bay. Unfortunately for the Raiders, they were unsuccessful in that one. Tampa will hope to repeat the feat that New England have done before, winning back-to-back Super Bowls. Brady was the last quarterback to win back-to-back Super Bowls while he was in New England. Yesterday was opening day of the baseball season. The Baltimore Orioles' trip to the Boston Red Sox was postponed due to rain, while the New York Mets' trip to face the Washington Nationals was called off under COVID protocol. The Seattle Mariners got off to a winning start against the San Francisco Giants. The Mariners came back with a 6-run 8th inning before then scoring and winning in the extra inning. The Blue Jays and the New York Yankees also went to an extra inning. That was 2-2 after the 9th, and the Blue Jays won in the extra inning. Hernandez for the Blue Jays scored 2 of their 3 runs, and 2 of his runs came off his 3 hits, which was a pretty good return rate there. The Detroit Tigers avoided a late comeback from the Cleveland Indians. Detroit won that 3-2 after Cleveland hit 2 runs at the top of the 9th there, but obviously it wasn't enough. The Milwaukee Brewers did successfully come from behind against the Minnesota Twins to win 6-5 after an extra inning. The Brewers picked up 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th to tie the game and force the extra inning. Elsewhere, the Pirates beat the Cubs 5-3 and the Philadelphia Phillies beat the Atlanta Braves 3-2. World Series holders, LA Dodgers, didn't get off to the start they would have hoped. They lost 8-5 to the Colorado Rapids. The Arizona Diamondbacks became the first team in baseball history to have a 4 home run innings, but despite that, it wasn't enough for them to overcome the San Diego Padres. The Padres ended up winning 8-7. Tampa Bay Rays beat the Miami Marlins in the Florida clash. That was 1-0 to the Rays. White Sox fell to a 4-3 defeat to the LA Angels, while the Houston Astros put up an 8-1 victory over the Oakland Athletic. A couple of big scoring games though. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds played out a 17-run game with the Cardinals winning 11-6. The Cardinals put up 11 runs in the first 4 innings. The other big scoring game was the Texas Rangers and the Kansas City Royals. That was a 24-run game which saw Kansas emerge winners 14-10. Both teams scored 5 runs in the first innings there. The 14 runs for Kansas sets a franchise record for them for the most runs on an opening day, and the 9-inning match that they played there was the longest game in Royals history. So as I said, this week we see the return of domestic football. On Saturday you've got Leicester Manchester City at 5:30 p.m. on Sky, as well as Arsenal hosting Liverpool at 8 p.m. You've also got Scottish Third Cup and a couple of games, Scottish Third Round games on TV. Tonight you've got Ross County Inverness, that's on BBC Scotland, and on Saturday you've got Dumbarton against Aberdeen at 12:15 on the BBC. Midweek we've got European football returning with Champions League and the Europa League. Real Madrid, Liverpool and Manchester City, Borussia Dortmund are both on Tuesday. Coverage for Real Madrid, Liverpool starts at 7. Coverage for City, Dortmund starts at 7:15. Wednesday we have Porto taking on Chelsea with coverage starting at 7, and Bayern Munich hosting PSG at 7:15. All of those Champions League games are on BT Sports. Europa League games on Thursday see Arsenal host Slavia Prague and Granada versus Man United. Coverage starting at 7:15 before Ajax and Roma and Dynamo Zagreb Villarreal. Coverage for those 7:45. There's also baseball games on throughout this week on BT Sports. Some of them are at reasonable times for UK viewers, some of them are midnight, early morning games, but there are a couple of 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock games throughout the week for people who want to watch that, which is good. So that's all for this week. Thank you for watching and goodbye.